Welcome, I am Eleftheria Pagkalou. These conversations explore psychology, perception, coherence, consciousness, and the hidden structures shaping human experience. Hello. So this is a very special episode for two reasons. The one is the topic that is so close to my heart, and the second reason is that it's through the work I've been doing now for some time with my spirit guide, Jules, and you're gonna see. I hope you will enjoy it. I'm not quite sure now that I'm starting off what the title should be, and perhaps we can figure it together as we are discussing it. It is about the heart, the space of the heart, and the cultural, societal conditions in how we are holding that space and what we're doing with it. We shall explore why the heart space is so important and how we have come to create our daily life, and if it works for the heart or in many occasions against the heart. Do we create structures that hold that space, nurture that space, that take it into consideration, or it's more of our mental space, our mental understanding, and our heart has become secondary. So we would like to start by what we mean by the heart space. The heart space is our emotions, feelings, our emotional body, and our heart also has different levels. We have lower levels and higher levels. The higher heart resonates at a very high frequency and is able to hold much more our spiritual field, what comes from our soul. In operating from our higher heart, we are able to sense and hold the frequency and be more tuned and in alignment with our soul and our life purpose. So we are used to expressions in human terms where we say the heart is really important. What does your heart tell you? Follow your heart. But what do we mean when we say that? Because we say this, but then on the other hand, we hold the barrier between our actions and our heart will. Because the person that is following their heart is perceived as perhaps experience more joy, but also get traumatized by following their heart language and will. Why? Because the heart tells you, I'm I'm attracted to that person. I'm in love. Therefore, I will succumb to whatever is happening between us and follow through because my heart wants it. So where we are operating from our heart space, it does matter. And as we will continue to unfold within this conversation, you shall see why there are so many individual differences from the operation of the heart. Many people can operate from the heart, yet their actions might be different, coming from a different level. Why is that, and what does it tell us? And the question is, should we follow our heart or not? When is it advisable to do so and when it is not? I will use an example from Jules said that this is very appropriate. The card from the card deck, the tarot card that stands out in matters of the heart is the first card, the 0 card, which is the Fool. The Fool can be very pure, spontaneous, and has the child energy, like I want that and I cannot see anything bad, so I'm going for it. But in doing so, you are at the edge of a cliff and you might fall and kill yourself, which is very symbolic of how can follow your heart in combination with being innocent can be either protective but also dangerous for survival. And people, we feel very challenged by what is right, what is wrong, and when we should follow our heart and when not. And the beliefs we hold as societies and cultures matter in this respect. An indication that we have suppressed a lot our heart space, our heart field, is how do we operate in daily life? As we grow older, we tend to fall into and be in alignment with structures, with duties, with responsibilities. And in so doing, many times we neglect the path of our heart. And this is why so many people at some point in their life or multiple times in their life, they get into some type of crisis because they wanted to do something, they didn't do it. What would have happened if they had acted on what they wanted rather than following the norm or what seemed to be right at the time, or what others told them to do, what the culture considered the right thing to do. And we humans tend to go in and out of crises relating to heart matters and the conflict between the heart and the mind, the mental space, because as humans grow older, they learn to follow more their logic because their mental operation is more important than their heart. And we humans spend time in reconciliation, finding the middle grounds between our heart and our mind in at least most time of our lives. Sometimes we neglect our heart because the duties and responsibilities are high, or the environment around us calls in actions that are more based on our logic, so we neglect our heart. And some periods of time we cannot neglect our heart because there are matters in relationships, or actually triggers from the environment that call our heart in the matter. And this is when we realize that we've been neglecting the heart and it needs some care. We need to act. Even when we avoid acting, at some point a crisis will force us to face heart matters. And Jules says that our heart is the inner compass. It gives us the drive, the will, and the direction. And our mind is not the leading force, is let's say the axiom by which we are supposed, the vehicle we are supposed to use to get us to the destination. Because this is not easy to be done on different stages of our life, or be sustainable in our daily life, it is easier to put aside what the heart wants and focus on what we know to be true and what others accept. Otherwise, we come in conflict with the environment. We mentioned at the beginning that there are different levels of heart operations. The heart needs to be opened up, to be trusted, to be followed, so that the experience of following the heart becomes embodied with time. If we don't know, yes, we tend to get hurt, and then our defense mechanisms that come from our ego, our survival mechanisms, are activated, and open wounds are created that are supposed to help us protect ourselves from being hurt, from repeated experiences, protect ourselves from getting hurt again. So what is right and wrong in terms of heart? Should we follow our heart or not? And how do we know that the heart is the leading force? It should be the force leading our life. We see most people not following their heart, and getting into some serious trouble, because the more you suppress your heart and you are not following your heart's path, the more likely is to experience crisis during your life. And when I say crisis, I don't just mean deep crisis where you feel dissatisfaction. It's also that if you don't follow your heart, you're more likely to make mistakes and make choices that don't resonate with you, which then hurt you, which then becomes the ground by which you get hurt. So not only you get discontent, dissatisfied, you also increase the probability of making mistakes. The key, many people tell you, I followed my heart in these 2 occasions in my life and I got hurt, so I will never do that again. This is a form of a vow. You give a vow that you will not allow yourself to open up again to a situation, to a person, to a group, therefore preventing yourself from having an open experience with others and connect at a heart level. If you do not allow your heart to connect with others, you cannot have a heart connection with others. So you end up entering relationships that are not coming from the heart. They don't resonate with your heart because you come with a closed heart, and therefore they are based on different aspects of your reality, perhaps your mental body or your trauma you acquired in the past at your heart level. And that creates a loop where you keep on recreating the trauma because you don't give a chance to connect at the heart level. So you take something for granted, that since you got hurt, that means you shouldn't get hurt again. And by so doing, you keep on hurting yourself because you do not connect at the heart level. And if you don't connect at a heart level, the other person cannot feel you, cannot understand you, cannot truly connect with you. So it increases the probability that the other person might be doing stuff that will be hurting you again. You may argue that you will not get hurt as much because your heart wasn't open. But the reality of it is that hope doesn't die. And if you say that, well, at least I didn't open my heart and I didn't get hurt, yes, but you deprived yourself of the experience of being loved and love another. And you might spend your life complaining that you cannot find a person to share your life, to love, or you were never loved. And it might be the reason why you don't get loved, because the people that have an open heart may try to approach you, but they will not stay in a field that one of the hearts is not open, because there is not resonance. We stay where there is resonance. We don't stay where there is not resonance. There is still something that is not answered, and it's very basic. You will hear people say, "Oh, I love you," but meaning different things. I love you might mean I love you to the extent that you give something in return, so we have a mutual exchange and we invest on each other, which is based on mutual reciprocity and fair exchange. But unconditional love comes from a higher space of the heart, because unconditional love does not mean I stay where they hurt me. It means I continue to love you, but you're not ready for this love. And if you don't get your chance, I will have to move on. And I will keep my heart open. I will not get hurt because you didn't get the chance to open up to me. In the same line of information comes what is the operation of the lower heart and what is the operation of the higher heart. And obviously we have middle ground where the heart is trying to coordinate the middle stage between the lower heart and the higher heart. And we don't want to overcomplicate things. So stay with us. Stay with us in this one. The lower heart is naive, is scared. It wants to do something, but is scared to open up, is scared to give, is scared to receive, it's scared to demonstrate vulnerability. And it might not open up, or it might open up a little bit underneath, but not expose herself. I'm saying herself because the heart is a she. It's not an it. Okay? So when I say herself, it's not open up herself, I mean her, the heart. The heart is a she because it's a container. It's a holding space that pumps up life. It's nurturing, it's giving, it can be unconditional. So it carries the feminine element of life. So the lower heart can be really scared to open up. It might be hurt in the past and chooses to stay behind the defensive walls for the purpose of protecting herself from further hurt. But the higher heart knows the universal truth that not everybody is ready to be at the same level, but that does not mean that the heart needs to be closed. It does not mean that sometimes it needs to be defensive and sometimes it needs to be open. The higher heart knows that being open is the protective mechanism, because remaining open independently of what others around us choose to do makes us what we are, makes us unconditional and generous. And that is a choice. It is a choice to understand that when somebody is not ready to open up because they choose to be defensive or not open up their heart, it's not necessarily personal to you. It might be demonstrating their own capacity at the moment of meeting with you. It might be that you're very open, you're very unconditional, you're very loving, you're very caring and nurturing, and that person cannot believe that you exist. So they look at you and they think, this is too good to be true, it's impossible. So they make a choice, and that choice might be losing the chance of opening up, might be lack of discernment to make the choice to heal, to receive what came along. There was actually a blessing, a miracle. So why is this such an important topic? Because we've seen individual lives and societies and structures and organizations and companies based on a mental model of how to be productive, being competitive, how to prove your worth, being enough, neglecting other qualities that come from the heart. And the question is, even somebody is very intelligent, but they are mentally intelligent, how resilient can they be? And resilience is measured not just by intelligence, mental intelligence, but the ability and capacity to adapt, survive, and have a good life independently of the environment around you. So this is why at this moment where we see that we don't have just an ideology collapse or so many narratives occurring at the same time, and so much information running across which belongs to the mental space. that mental capacity and mental space is not enough to make humans be happy, be balanced, and operating from their higher abilities and potential. And this is because humanity is a little bit disconnected from its heart. It seems like when we are disconnected from our heart, we are disconnected from who we are. And if we don't remember who we are, we get compromised. We have the ability to express only few parts of ourselves. We are in deficit. We are not creating from our higher faculties, from our higher abilities. And this is why this podcast is perhaps the most basic, important, and essential one in everything else I'm going to be building upon, because I'm going to be building upon it. It is essential for human survival and happiness to be and remain connected to our heart. At the end of the day, it is a skill we can learn to connect and maintain connection, and we can build upon it so it becomes one of our basic skills. And remember that no matter what happens, connecting to our heart is the most important thing, even if we have to achieve that through trial and error. And on the way to reconnecting and learning to trust, we may get hurt as it appears, but the higher heart has no space for being hurt or remaining hurt. It's so compassionate that it will listen to your hurt, to how you feel, but it will not hold the wound for long, because her function is to operate at a frequency that is all forgiving, all about generosity, compassion, and just being who you were born to be. And when we're saying who you were born to be, we are not talking about the human personality and the ego. We are talking about your soul ray, which chose to come here and live this experience on earth through your current form, your human body, your personality, and allow it to get experience through your physical reality. And there are many more things to say, but we would like to close this podcast with these questions. Do you think you're operating from your heart? If not, what do you think made you set it down or be in defense or not allowing vulnerability? Is it something that happened to you or were taught to you by your environment, or a combination? Do you ever have a feeling you want to break through from your mental obligations and duties that hold you bound to a life that doesn't give you joy? And if yes, what stops you from breaking free? And if it's the first time that you're thinking about that, if there is a possibility that you would be willing to allow your heart to come through you, and if you would be willing to listen what she would like to tell you. And then at the second stage, if you think you would be able to make a small step into coming closer to her directive, to her lead, and how all these concepts sit with you. How do you feel about it? Do you feel perhaps more concerned, but at the same time more expanded? Do you feel more hopeful? How do you feel about what you heard today? Okay, and we hope you enjoyed this podcast as much as we did, and it's our hope that you will be drawn to it if it's the right space for you, and you will listen to it again and again as many times as you feel like and are necessary to create a shift, and with the possibility to bring some joy and more alignment with your soul in your daily life. We thank you.